Salamun alaikum wa rahmatullah, dear listeners, and welcome to the very first episode of DawnCast Days of Light series, brought to you by the Dawn of Divine Days Institute. It's a blessing to begin our first podcast with you today as we reflect on a most auspicious occasion in the Islamic calendar, the blessed birth of Lady Zaynab al-Kubra, peace be upon her.
Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. That's beautifully said, Sayyidina. Truly, this day shines in our history because Lady Zaynab salamullah alayha, the noble daughter of Imam Ali alayhi salam, and Lady Fatimah al-Zahra salamullah alayha, and the granddaughter of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him and his family, was born into a household of divine light. She grew up under the direct care of infallible figures, witnessing her grandfather's purity and her mother's martyrdom. And all of these shaped her immortal legacy.
Exactly. And our sources, especially the book Realization of Pure Islam, remind us that family is the very first institution that shapes society. Lady Zaynab's family was not simply a home, it was a school of divine wisdom. Her upbringing made her into a crucible where the highest human potential was forged. And even her name, Zaynab, meaning the adornment of her father, reflects how she embodied dignity, knowledge, and courage, the hallmarks of Imam Ali alayhi salam.
MashaAllah, that's a very good point. Let's begin with knowledge or ilm. Lady Zaynab wasn't only a witness to history, she was a scholar, a muhadditha, a narrator of hadith, and a teacher. She taught divine sciences to women in Medina, showing how central knowledge is to realizing pure Islam. As the book Realization of Pure Islam notes, knowledge is essential. Without it, realization is impossible. Every divine proof, after calling people to faith, immediately began to teach knowledge.
Absolutely right. And Lady Zaynab salamullah alayha embodied that principle. She didn't treat knowledge as personal enrichment. She used it as a foundation for transforming society. Her deep understanding allowed her to stand firm against falsehood. Just imagine the depth of wisdom needed to challenge tyranny with words alone. Let me ask you, Sayyid, how much priority do we give to authentic knowledge in our lives today? Not only for ourselves, but also to empower our communities.
That's a profound question, Sayyidina. Too often we chase information but not wisdom. Lady Zaynab salamullah alayha reminds us that knowledge must be authentic, divinely rooted, and then shared for the betterment of society.
Now let's move on to Iman, faith. Lady Zaynab's faith was like an unshakable mountain. She endured the martyrdom of her mother and father, and then the unimaginable tragedy of Karbala, where her brothers, nephews, and even her sons were martyred before her eyes. Yet her belief in God's plan never faltered.
Yes, the book Realization of Pure Islam teaches us that faith is one of the most effective elements in realizing pure Islam. Without faith, there is no realization. Her conviction was rooted in her heart, what the book The Power Within describes as the commander of the entire body. And her pure niyyah, her intention, was the wellspring of her every action. As the narration says, the intention of a believer is better than his action, because often one intends good that circumstances prevent them from completing. Lady Zaynab's sincerity transformed her suffering into worship and resistance.
That's a very good reminder. And her patience, her sabr, is legendary. She lived the Quranic verse. Oh, you who believe, seek help through patience and prayer. Indeed, Allah is with the patient. يا أيها الذين آمنوا استعينوا بالصبر والصلاة إن الله مع الصابرين. Oh, you who believe, seek help through patience and prayer. Indeed, Allah is with the patient. For her, this verse was not theory, it was her very breath.
Absolutely. And remember, her patience wasn't passive resignation, it was active endurance, a steadfast resolve to uphold truth even when all seemed lost. The book The Power Within describes this as hilm, or forbearance, the ability to restrain anger, increase serenity, and maintain control. Lady Zaynab's patience came from profound understanding and inner strength, which made her an unyielding pillar of truth.
And then comes her jihad, her struggle in God's way. After Karbala, her battlefield was no longer with the sword, but with speech. She became the voice of the martyrs, ensuring Imam Hussein's message was not silenced.
Exactly. The book Realization of Pure Islam defines martyrdom as sacrificing one's life for realizing pure Islam. While warriors gave their blood on the battlefield, Lady Zaynab Salamullah alayha preserved that sacrifice with her words. Her sermons in Kufa and Damascus were fiery declarations against falsehood. In Yazid's court, though a captive woman, she delivered words sharper than swords, tearing away the illusion of his authority. She embodied the Quranic command to enjoin good and forbid evil, showing no fear in the face of oppression.
So what does this mean for us? On an individual level, Lady Zaynab calls us to cultivate inner power. The book The Power Within reminds us that the heart is the commander, as Sayyid said. If we purify our intentions and strengthen our resolve, we can become agents of change.
Yes, and on the social level, her legacy compels us to act for justice. Silence in the face of oppression is complicity. The book Realization of Pure Islam says the more justice is practiced, the more enmity it provokes. But that sacrifice is the price of truth. Lady Zaynab's stand was the ultimate act of enjoining good and forbidding evil.
Exactly. Lady Zaynab's stand was the ultimate act of enjoining good and forbidding evil. Her message transcends time. In our age of inequality and moral confusion, she calls us not just to contemplation, but to action. She teaches us to prioritize God's commands over fear or comfort, and to reject both oppression and innovation in religion.
Imagine, dear listeners, her heart broken by grief, yet overflowing with divine strength. Her spirit, tested by fire, emerged radiant. She didn't just mourn, she revolutionized. She didn't just weep, she spoke. And in speaking, she became the eternal voice of justice.
Very beautifully said. And Imam al-Raza alayhi salam gives us a key when he says the intention of a believer is better than his action. Even in captivity, Lady Zaynab's intention was to defend truth and deliver Imam Hussein's message. Her body was confined, but her niyyah was limitless. reaching across generations.
So, as we celebrate her blessed birth, let us pledge to emulate her, to seek knowledge constantly, to fortify our faith, to practice patience with perseverance, and to struggle for truth and justice.
O Allah, bless Muhammad and the family of Muhammad. Make us among those who walk in the path of Zaynab al-Kubra, salamullah alayha, striving in your way, patient in trials, and working for the realization of your religion.
Ameen Ya Rabbal Alameen. Dear listeners, thank you for joining us today on DawnCast. For more resources and insights, visit us at ddd313.com or follow us on our social channels. Until next time, may your days be filled with light, knowledge, and steadfastness. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.